Hello everyone, welcome to Peach on Earth Tarot. Today I'm going to be doing a reading for Cancer. You can have Cancer anywhere in your chart, you can be a cross watcher. All that I ask is that if you're here watching this reading that you come with good intentions for yourself and for others. I just want to preface this reading by saying that I have been ill, so if I sound congested or if I have to sneeze or cough or blow my nose or something, I apologize in advance. But that is bound to happen because I am ill. But I have a small frame of time where I can upload videos every 2 weeks, and I just want to utilize that time, even though I'm sick. Okay, so Cancer. I was getting a pretty interesting message for you guys when I was shuffling your cards and getting into your energy. The message actually came in before I had even started shuffling the cards. And it's interesting because it has something to do with fairies, and I am using the fairies oracle to get advice for the readings. And oh, my ear is super itchy from the cold. So anyway, the message that was coming in, and it's the only message that came in for you guys, like the whole time I was shuffling and getting into your energy and stuff, the only message that I was getting was about changelings. I don't really know a lot about changelings. All I know, is that it's when the fairies take a healthy baby and replace it with like a sickly fairy baby, and but it's like a humanoid, like it looks like a human, but so like they don't know that they were changed, like the parents don't know that they were changed. And so like what that's telling me is like you could have been a child with special needs, you might have a child with special needs, or you could in the future, or you work with people with special needs. That's what was kind of coming through there. And here's the thing is like the changelings, it like has a negative connotation, and I don't want to dismiss or diminish anyone's experience, but it's like special needs, they don't fit into society, like Earth society, right? But they have their own attributes. There are skills that come along with certain special needs, and I'm not trying to diminish that because it is really hard to have special needs and to fit into the society. Like, I'm not trying to diminish that fact whatsoever. But it's like just trying to look at something from a different angle, like utilize that energy in the way, like, I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, but it's like, use it as a gift, like look at it as a gift, embrace it, accept it, and see how that speciality can move forward. Like, just as an example, I feel like people are going to come at me for this, but I'm being called to say it. But it's like, okay, so like children with autism, like, and I'm talking like, I'm not just talking about severe autism, I'm talking about just autism in general, but especially the severe autism, right? Like, I think that those kids or people, because not all severe autism, I hate saying severe too, because it's just like, it's just a different version of the spectrum. They're on the higher end of the spectrum, let's say that, okay? I honestly think that they're tapped into something that we can't tap into. Like, they're partially in another realm, but their body is here on Earth, but it's like their soul is split between this realm and another realm. But like, so some people could look at kids with the more, I'm using the word severe for lack of a better word, autism, as like a child that could be a changeling, quote unquote, right? And maybe so, like maybe their soul is in that fairy realm or whatever, like People are gonna think I'm nuts, but that's, oh well. Um, so yeah, it's just like looking at something, and that's just an example. It doesn't even have to necessarily be about a child with special needs. It's just an example. It could be anything in your life that it's like, it feels like a hindrance, but it just needs to be looked at from a different angle. Okay? Taurus's reading was a lot like this too. Okay, so the decks I'm going to be using today, I'm using the Book of Shadows Tarot. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm using the Book of Shadows Tarot, and it has two decks in it, the As Above and So Below. And even in this context, I'm using these two different decks that are like one realm and another realm. This is the earthly realm, this is the higher dimensions, right? And so there's something really about that. It's like your flaws, your quote unquote flaws, are meant to be looked at from a higher perspective. What is the use of you having this characteristic here on earth? Okay, so the As Above tarot is that it's the higher perspective, and then the So Below, how I'm going to be using it is like I'm going to be clarifying the As Above with the So Below, because it's like how this higher up energy translates here on earth, how it manifests here in the earthly realm. Okay, and then I'm going to be getting some advice with the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. Okay, so I can't believe that took me, oh wait, no, I forgot I recorded for a while before I actually started the reading. What is the message for Cancer, please? What's the message for Cancer? What is the message for Cancer, please? Huh. Okay, so 22 could have a significance for you, but we have the Two of Cups that came out, and then the Two of Earth on the bottom. Two of Water, Two of Earth. Hang on, just give me a second so I can kind of look at this. With the Two of Cups, it's like there's a union happening. Now remember, this is like in the astral realms. This is in the other dimensions, right? And if you don't believe in like other dimensions, like, I don't know, it's just your inner knowing or whatever. There's a union happening. Now it could be with another person. Maybe the person that you're, like, your person has like they're neurodivergent, something like that, or maybe you both are, but one of you is, at least. And it's like finding a way to bring those together. Like, it is, that's what this is. Like, it's, this Two of Cups is telling me what I've already said. It's like, by finding the way to utilize that energy, whatever makes you different, it's just, it brings balance and stability and emotional well-being into your life. I want to keep going because I'm not getting a lot from this Two of Cups. What else for Cancer? What else for Cancer? Like, this could even be like emotional deficiencies, right? Like, what's a Cancerian type of energy? Like, because Cancerians are like hard on the outside, soft in the middle, right? So it's like maybe that's something that people around you have looked at you in a negative way over. But there's a way to utilize that energy, right? But like, even, and I'm really not trying to diminish anyone's experiences here. Hang on. Path. Chrono Fire. It's like these cards came out kind of, but they were face down. One came up face up. Spellcasting in bulk. But we have the 10 of Swords. Yeah, it's like there's some kind of like emotional condition of yours, anxiety, depression, and I'm not trying to diminish your experience, but it's like it's something that the world and society has always referred to as negative. It's bad to have these things. You have to fix it. You have to fix it. Because we have the 10 of Air coming out here. And look, she's holding a picture of herself. I don't know if you can see that. She's holding a picture of herself, and then she has all of the elements represented here. They're all the aces of all the suits are sitting in front of her. So it's like you have, like, whatever your condition is, and I don't want to put it in quotes either, like that's not even the right thing to do because it's very real to you. I'm not trying to diminish that because it's always been very, very painful. It's something that has been very painful because of this 10 of Swords, and maybe it's caused you to fail in relationships. But it's also, by looking at it in a new light, you have the chance for the new beginnings, because we have here like every single one of the aces from this deck, right? She has all the aces sitting out here in front of her, and those represent new starts, right? It's the ability to start anew. And the 10 of Air represents like the end of painful cycles, right? It's like the end and the beginning. You're using a new, or you're being encouraged to use a new perspective of something that you've always associated as negative about yourself, and using it to one, learn about yourself in the world at large and like how it's perceived, and then how to move forward with it. Because on the bottom we have the Queen of Cups, or the Queen of Earth, and oh, look, this Ace of Cups is on the bottom, underneath her, and then you have the Two of Cups. So it's like, by changing your perspective, by looking at it in a different light, you are maybe going to be more successful in your emotional realm, more successful in relationships, even because we do have the Two of Cups here. There's two people. It's like a uniting of sorts. So it's like, by seeing, it's almost like the conditioning in your life made you look at something about yourself as a negative trait, but it's not a negative trait, and you need to reframe your thinking. And it's like a new emotional beginning. It allows you to be more successful in your relationships and just more successful in your day-to-day life, because we have this Queen of Earth on the bottom. And this is supposed to be the upper realms, right? But we have the Queen of Earth, and she is very much grounded here on Earth. the significance of her holding the card is like she's holding this exact card in her hand. I don't know if you can see it. See how she's holding the exact same card in her hand? They're saying don't, it's like the way you see the world, but also view the world through, it's like the lens you see, the lens in which you see the world, but also like you need to see the lens itself, like what lens is in front of your eyes, because it's distorting your vision of the actual true earth, right? It's like you have some distortion in front of you, and you need to remove the distortion. We're gonna use the so below. Because I don't know. This is. I guess I've been really redundant and I've been saying the same thing over and over again. So maybe this is something like you have to keep telling yourself. You have to keep telling yourself, this is not a hindrance anymore. This is not a hindrance anymore. This is not a hindrance anymore. How can I use this to my ability? How can I use this for the greater good of for myself and for all? So let's see how these cards are translating here on Earth. What's the Two of Cups? Two of Water. You could have always been in negative, like toxic relationships due to this fact, like due to this distortion of yourself. Like maybe you've always felt like your worth is not worthy of like a respectable love from another human being. Like you don't feel worthy of like a high quality person. Yeah, we have the Tower underneath the Two of Cups. And hang on. And the Emperor. Yeah. So it's like a distorted masculine energy. So like you could be a feminine and like you're letting like a distorted masculine cloud your judgment. Like maybe like when you were being raised, it's like a toxic father, or you have always been in toxic relationships with men, or vice versa. Just the masculine energy. But with this Tower, both these people are on the phone. Do you see that? How they're both on the phone? Sorry about that glare there. They're both on the phone. And the date October 31st is circled on this woman's calendar. So that could mean something to you. They're both on the phone. This one looks happy. This one looks pissed off. So it's like, I'm getting the fact that there's like some masculine energy. It doesn't have to be a man. It's just a masculine energy is like tearing you down. And it's almost like you reach a breaking point. You say, enough is enough. Because she's like really, really red. Do you see that? It's like anger. In Tower cards, it's like, Tower, if you don't know, means like abrupt change. And she has like a broken vase on the ground. And it's also red. But everything else in the room is like gray or blue. Oh, you know what they're saying? It's like a person that brings out the worst in you. It's like they bring out, like, just by like, they know how to like push your buttons. They know how to say something. And they know how to say something and it just like pushes you over the edge and like makes you angry. And they could be doing it intentionally or they could be doing it unintentionally. Like, it could just be something unhealed in them that causes them to do this. But it's it's like someone who knows how to push your buttons, and it's like a cycle that's been going on for a long time because of this, how she's holding the same card. It's like you keep either picking the same person over and over and over, or you keep picking the same types of people. And this doesn't even necessarily have to be romantic. Like, maybe you have a healthy romantic relationship and then really unhealthy, like, work dynamics or friendship dynamics or family dynamics. I don't know. It could be any kind of relationship that's doing this. Now, it feels romantic just because this Two of Cups is like usually associated with like romantic energy. But I don't really like read romance. I read relationships. I read emotional energies, right? And however it applies to your life, whether it's romantic or otherwise, that's up to you to decide. But both these people are in like a kitchen, so it feels like it's someone you live with at least, or have lived with in the past. Um, it's almost like they make you feel like that changeling, right? They make you feel like you are not right, that the way that you show up in the world is not okay. And that's not true. Like, I don't want anyone to be able to tell you that. Like, if someone is making you feel that way, you need to not be around that person. I'm sorry, but you just need to not be. Okay, let's clarify this Ten of Air. What is the clarification for the Ten of Air? How is it translating here on Earth? Or maybe they're saying too, like, to reframe the light, like the way that this is being seen, it's like, is there a way to communicate with this person and reframe the situation? Is there a way to do that? Because if there is, that's wonderful. Like, but then also it's like, maybe the Tower moment also is you figuring out how to show up in a relationship in a better dynamic and a healthier dynamic. But with the aggression that's coming out here, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but it's like they're asking me, like, look at it from all angles. Is there anything that can be done? Is there any redeeming quality? I'm getting really nasally, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to sniff too much, but it's gonna happen. So let's clarify this Ten of Air, which is the Ten of Swords, but the Ten of Air is what it's labeled in this deck. Let's clarify the Ten of Air for Cancer, please. Ten of Air for Cancer. How does this Ten of Air translate here on Earth for Cancer? It landed like right on top of the Ten of Air. So we have the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords typically means like thievery, dishonesty, and paired with the Ten of Swords, it just doesn't feel good. It's like a really bad cycle that you're in here, it seems like. But let's see what came out. Yeah. You have the Five of Cups. Look at this. It's like this energy, it's like they point out your flaws. And it doesn't even, I guess it doesn't even have to be another person. It can just be like the masculine voice in your head. Because we all have masculine and feminine within each of us. And whether it's you or another person, it's like you repeat these same mantras to yourself, but they're totally negative mantras. And they hang you up. They make you feel really, really bad and upset. And it's like a vicious cycle. You can't get out of that thought process, either because you haven't healed it, you haven't looked at it from another light, or someone is in your environment that is what is the word is like right on the tip of my tongue that I'm trying to look for. There's someone in your environment that is like reinforcing those thoughts about yourself. Um, or they're even like, they could be like gaslighting you, or they're just like, they reinforce the fact that you're broken, that you are the changeling, right? You are the negative counterpart to the one, like the changeling is like the beautiful, flawless baby gets stolen and replaced with a broken one, right? They reinforce that thought within yourself that you are the broken version of yourself, that you will never be anything but the broken version because the changeling is gone, or the other version is gone completely. It's never to be found again. I'm here to tell you that that's just not true. Even our flaws can be utilized in a beautiful way as long as we're not hurting ourselves or others. Like how I say in the beginning of these readings, like, come with good intentions for yourself and for others. Please do that. Please have the self-love to see the fact that you showing up in the world as yourself is 100% okay. And if there's people that aren't okay with that, as long as you're not hurting other people, right? Like, you can't be a gaslighter and be like, I'm a good person. Like, that just can't be, right? You have to, as long as you're not harming others, like, there's nothing wrong with your flaws. Because there is an energy of this realm on earth where it can be utilized. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, I'm trying to think of an example, but I'm just like kind of worked up right now. Okay, so with the Seven of Swords on the bottom, like, if you look at it, they're like taking papers out of a briefcase or putting papers in a briefcase. So like maybe the way that you work is like, it's like it's maybe you move a lot slower than the average worker, okay? But with someone that moves slow, maybe it's like you're in a fast-paced environment and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this person's so slow, like they can't keep up, like why are they even here, blah blah blah. This is just an example, it doesn't have to be what's going on here. But here's the thing, is that person that's moving slower is probably getting more things right than wrong. And everyone who's moving faster is probably has more issues with like things being done the correct way. It's like the example that's coming to my mind, even though I'm talking about work here, but it's like there's a different example coming to my mind. Like, so when people like work out, right? The people who like go as fast as they can, they're not doing the right thing for their body and their muscles. Like, what's right is to go slow. You go as slow as you can, and it gives that control to the muscles, right? So it's like, I just really feel like there's energies around you that are making you feel like your flaws are just a complete hindrance to you and everyone around you. Like, they point out like how you negatively affect them or something, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's go. This reading is super long, I'm sorry. So we're gonna go ahead and use, look, Luminous Doom, it's giving me this Five of Cups energy here. We're gonna use the fairies for some advice for you guys, okay? What is the advice for Cancer, please? That came out really fast. The green woman on the bottom, so like maybe um utilizing like oh, two cards came out. Like kind of Wiccan properties, like doing spells or like really getting the grounding too. I was getting grounding with this tower card, but I forgot to mention it because it's like grounding and then the heart chakra too, or the the throat chakra. It's almost like get grounded and then speak your truth, because the red represents our root chakra and then the blue represents our throat chakra. So it's like you have to get grounded in order to speak and know your truth, like, or else someone's going to keep trying to walk all over you and like keep pushing your buttons, right? Okay. We have gotcha and honesty. Got honesty. Honesty, look at this. He's like so sweet and innocent. It's almost like somebody with the gotcha, just the words that are coming out here, it's like somebody got your sweetness. They robbed you of it because of I don't know, it's like they just like robbed you of it. Okay? So anyway, I want to 40. Honesty in a reading speaks, unsurprisingly, of the need for straight dealing and truth in representation. We need to be something honest here. Scrupulously honest here, making certain that there is no room for confusion or misunderstanding, no fuzzy edges. Both written and verbal agreements need to be completely clear. Assumptions may not be as well understood by all parties as we are assuming, and they need to be tested for comprehension. On a personal level, honesty reminds us not only to be clear in what we say and do, but also to act and speak with compassion and tact. And I think that's towards yourself and towards others. Like when you're trying to, like, say you're viewing yourself from that new light now, right? From a better light. And you're needing to communicate with this person that knows how to push your buttons, that knows how to knock down your boundaries, right? Because that's what honesty is, I think. It's like speaking our boundaries, especially with that throat chakra coming up. It's like, this is my boundary. And then there's someone in your environment or multiple people in your environment that just like constantly knock that boundary down and then make you feel like this. You know, it's like they knock it down, and then not only do you feel bad about what they're saying is wrong with you, but you also feel bad about the fact that you let them knock your boundary down. And you just have to give yourself more compassion. Like I don't know. Let's see what gotcha says here too. Oh, 64. Sudden shock, unexpected events, and rude awakenings. That's that tower energy, okay? This is bad fairies, quote unquote bad fairies, right? Like maybe you feel like a bad fairy, that changeling, right? You feel like the bad fairy. They nip and prod us, asking for simple acknowledgement of their presence. That's acknowledging the flaw, the perceived flaw, I should say, and acknowledging it, looking at it a different light, insisting that we take notice of them, the first step to healing and change. Like you just have to see it, you have to acknowledge it, and you have to look at it in a new light. Let's see here. We choose to step in front of the visible cosmic bus. That's funny. I know more than I see. And that's the thing, is like, yeah, you are choosing to step in front of it, or you should be. This is the advice, right? Step in front of that tower moment, that cosmic bus, by saying, by removing the lens, right? That's what it is. It's like the lens gets removed, and then it's going to create a tower moment. It's going to, and that's okay. Like, tower moments are there for our greater good. They really are. They're hard to get through, but they're there for our greater good. Regain our balance as quickly as possible. Says, we like to build sturdy, rigid structures in our minds and lives, but he also knows that these often are not good for us. Sometimes we even complain about them, muttering about life being dull and boring, yet we cling to them tenaciously. And that's what's happening here. It's like, you've been clinging to something. The cycle has been going on and on and on, because she is holding the card. You've had chances with new beginnings down there. Like, the fairies are like trying to show you, look at all these aces, but you choose to pick up the 10 of Swords, right? All the aces came out, the 10 of Swords came out. You picked up the 10 of Swords. You picked up the old cycle. And now, yeah, it's just like, the advice is to just stop picking up that cycle. The advice is to get honest with yourself. To stop trying, like, this is like they're hiding their eyes, right? Except they have visibility, but they're trying to pretend like they don't. They're covering their eyes, but they're actually peeking. It's like, you know, something is not healthy, but you're not being honest with yourself. The universe, this reading, whatever, is asking you to get really, really honest with yourself. Remove the lens that you're viewing the world through. Like, remove the victim mentality. Remove the fact that I'm broken in this way, I'm broken in this way, I'm broken in this way, and see how you can utilize those energies instead of being a victim of them. Okay? Sorry if that's a little harsh, Cancer. Like, I don't like it when I do like it when readings come out harsh. I feel like a lot of my readings are harsh, but it's just the nature of things. Like, I'm an advocate for change. Like, I'm an advocate for people living their most authentic lives. And in order to get to that stage, like, we have to go through a lot of stuff, right? Like, we have to go through a lot of harshness. And so I'm sorry if this reading was harsh, but it's just the nature of things. And but I hope that you learned something. I hope it resonated. And if it did, you can like, comment, share, subscribe. I thank any of you for being present today. I thank any of your guides that are present, any of my guides that are present, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.